picks are really important here, Drift.
Yeah, I think West Broadway Grillers will want to rely on kind of a slower game where they have to kind of try and hold off sharks from getting onto the plat really quickly. And most importantly, they'll probably have to open as best as they can. But we're gonna get into it actually.
Yeah, and it looks like, as you said, Kiwi going on that bamboozler, and I'd be interested to actually see the abilities that Kiwi is running. As you said, probably no main power up on that set, but Henlo, of course, running the junior, got the 52, and you also have another foil squeezer coming out, and I feel like we've been seeing more and more of that lately, Drift, and I think the big reason is because it's just got a lot of utility.
Yeah, even though the slight nerfs to bubbles where it made the first couple slightly smaller, it's still a very insta-pop bubble is still very much around and still as good as ever, really.
Yeah, and of course you have to add the fact that you've basically got a Jet Squelcher range and basically a mini Splatling range with your shorter fire with the Squeezer, and you do have a painting monster here. But as we said, West Broadway Killers, we're going to have to play this a little bit carefully. As it looks like they ended up full wiping their Drift, but now this is kind of brutal if you're West Broadway Killers, because you go one down, you know that the people you're playing against are fantastic, but you really can't give up on this. And they're putting up an effort to try and get the zone, but unfortunately they're not going to be able to do it here, as that is going to be a delayed wipe on the side of West Broadway Girls once again. Unfortunately, they weren't able to decap the zone fully, but I was going to say the good news is at least they're all back up on the plat. They just really need to try and get some specials here and push in. They need also at least one pick. They need to make something happen.
Yeah, they had one more chance there, but I believe it was Ricky just waiting on the left side of the zone. Just didn't really have much to do, but just needed to see any danger coming, and that was an easy pick for him.
Yeah, and just a little unfortunate. And this map can snowball as well if you're not careful. You do have a lot of space to move around in the mid, but locking down that plat earlier, you saw Synapse go. Unfortunately, play the "I'm gonna get you" game with Sam, and just kind of ninja slid, kind of basically through their ink and all the way up to the corner, and just kind of trap Sam and pick them off there. But now we go, of course, into our next. We're gonna be going into our next match, of course. Sharks going up game 1 here as we get into game 2, which is Rainmaker on Sturgeon Shipyard, and I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, what do you think, Drift? I'm okay with this map mode combination. I personally prefer tower control, but I think everybody prefers tower control on this map. Rainmaker can be a blessing and a curse. I've had matches specifically in my career as a competitive player as well, Drift. I've had matches where you try and make that push on the left side. You try and go through their spinner on the left side there, and the spinner just up, so you can't do anything. But then there's other times where the spinner's down and there's no one around, and you just get the dunk. It's just, this map adds a little bit of randomness that I personally don't like. But if executed with the timer well, which obviously a lot of these high-level and mid-level teams are really good at doing, that really determines everything here.
Yeah, even though the bridges and spinners run into timer, it's not something you generally pay attention to while you're playing, because there's just so much going on that's not something that's on your mind.
Yeah, you're right, because it more is, and you're right, I guess the game, we all know the game of Splatoon is you got to adapt on the fly. You absolutely have to adapt on the fly. If the spinner's down, you got the opportunity to push, yeah, you're going to go up the spinner, as you said. It's not so much of a worry on time. But as we get right into it here, Sam going to be switching to the standard splatter scope here on a big change actually coming out on the side of Sharks as well. We're actually going to see a Sploosh 7 out of Synapse of all people as well. So you know what, we might be seeing some hammer action coming out from Synapse here, Drift.
Yep, Sploosh 7 I would say is Rainmaker being its best mode due to the amount of speed it can get, how it convert defense into offense so quickly with its burst painting, and as well as the hammer to continue its forward momentum.
Yeah, and it looks like a delayed wipe situation already on the side of West Broadway Grillers here, and it looks like the members of course, Sharks are going to be able to push up, but Synapse gets taken out, so the Rainmaker's push is going to be stopped. A 3-down situation now on the side of Sharks as the last member of Sharks trying to get away. A is able to jump out successfully, but West Broadway Grillers unfortunately not pushing into mid, opting to pop the Rainmaker right now, which is what you got to do, but you need to at least send a couple people to mid. You got to put some paint, you got to put some pressure in mid. Now they're starting to do that here, but at what cost and what kind of time did they waste here as a couple members already of Sharks are in, and there's the hammer from Synapse coming out, and Sam gets taken out. That's a full wipe drift for West Broadway Grillers.
Yeah, it was Kiwi actually getting the last kill in the Rainmaker there, and he actually switched over to Mark II, which has Toxic Mix and Burst Bomb Launcher. Slightly interesting pick. It's not used as much, but cannot sleep on how quickly he gets a special.
No, you really can't with the painting power of the sploosh. But Sam making some moves, able to not only snipe the Rainmaker, but I believe another player as well. And with Stingray at the ready, should be able to stall this push from the members of Sharks. But I think Sam is just going to opt to hold back. The members of Sharks are backing off. Unfortunately, they do have a lot of pressure in the West Broadway Grillers pit right now. So here comes the Stingray from Sam. They need to maybe find a couple picks and not able to find any. And Gem's going to be taken out on the left side of the pit there. But I like the play from West Broadway Grillers here to try and get the Rainmaker back out of the pit because that's a dangerous spot to have that Rainmaker in. But now Sam in trouble as Synapse comes up with the hammer. And that is going to be, I believe, another delayed wipe situation. And the yeets from the hammer as well. Unfortunately, the yeet is still not going to be enough. And those bombs coming in at the perfect moment to shut down a couple members. That's the third time the Sharks have been trying to push that Rainmaker up. They're just not able to do it. The defense from the West Broadway Grillers right now is very, very clean. Able to avoid going down a couple, but those picks were needed. What they really need here, though, Drift, I think, and what's very important for them, they kind of got to get this Rainmaker back. And whether that be through a reset or other means, they're just going to let it reset on their own. But no, Ricky comes up and picks it up at the very last second. That is a very unfortunate scenario as there's a lot of orange paint around the spawn of West Broadway Grillers. And you can see this Stingray just trying to stay alive. The jumps are coming in, and here comes the dunk.
Yeah, you can kind of see how it's rather difficult to actually get a kill on this map due to the amount of distance you have to go, and with the spawn being so close to the pedestal, you can see Sam was actually able to just stay in spawn, and actually I believe he got three shots in a row while they were pushing the Rainmaker about a minute ago or so.
Yeah, Sam definitely being the. I would definitely say if I had to give an MVP medal to the members of West Broadway Grillers, it definitely had to be Sam there. As you said, those picks were super important. But I think the big mistake coming out of West Broadway Grillers, while they wanted to try and reset that Rainmaker, unfortunately, with Ricky being able to come up and them losing that opportunity, I feel like they should have been able to make their play sooner. But unfortunately, that is going to be the set there, Drift. The Sharks are going to be taking a 2-1 over